Paco, and you're watching Bad Witch Books. Hey guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going over all the books I read in May. I cannot believe it is already June. Technically it's May 31st of the time of the recording, but we are already in June. The year is halfway over. We are at the halfway point of the year, and I am here to discuss the books I read this month. Now, I have my handy dandy reading journal here, and I have a total of 17 books read. That is a lot of books. Usually I read about like 8 books, 10 books a month. I did read a lot of ebooks this month, though. I read a lot of ebooks this month, so most of them are ebooks. I think I have 8 of those books are either physical or audio, and the rest are ebooks. I think I read a total of 8 ebooks. But let's get to it. I'm gonna start with the ebooks I read, so it's just easier for editing Paco. So the first ebook I read was Radiant Black Volume 2. I believe this volume is called Team Up. This continues the story of Radiant Black, but it also introduces more of Radiant Red, Radiant Yellow, Radiant Pink, after they have to work on to take down the mysterious antagonist that showed up at the end of the Volume 1. That went really interesting, and then I liked where it went after. At the end of it, the second half just got more character moments, and I really liked it. I ended up giving this book 3 stars, and I am going to continue with this book, but I just kind of got off a comic book mood, and you will see where I went elsewhere in this reading month. So after that, I did end up reading Power Rangers Pink Volume 1. This, if you are a Power Rangers fan like I am, this takes place in the Mighty Morphin era. This takes place after Kimberly, the first ever Pink Ranger, leaves the team, and she goes to like be a gymnast in Europe. And one day she's noticed that like her mom hasn't been answering any of her calls. It's really weird, and so she goes to the town that her mom is staying at, and it's like a ghost town. Something's wrong, and so she contacts Zordon and is like, hey, I need help. There's something weird here, and he ends up giving her powers back for like a limited time, and a limited amount of her power back, because that's what he can give her at the moment, and she has to try to save the day. It also brings in older Rangers like Trini and Zach, the original Yellow and Black Rangers, make an appearance, and it was really fun to see, especially like if you're an OG Power Ranger fan, the references that are made, and it was just really fun. I love Kimberly as a character. The art was alright, and I liked seeing Goldar was pretty fun. So I will probably continue more into the Power Ranger world of the comics. I think this is the second ever Power Ranger comic I read. So the third ebook I read was not a comic. We're out of my comic era of ebooks for the month, and it is a smutty romance. And it is Alpha of Mortal Flesh by Ben Alderson. This is a part of his Dark Mouse series, so each book in this series is like a monster romance, and the first one is Dracula meets Beauty and the Beast, the second one is Hades and Persephone but with elves, and the third one is Little Red Riding Hood, and this is my favorite. I enjoyed the first 2, like they were fun and cute. This one was good. So this one is our main character. Our Red Riding Hood character is a witch, and that is something he is hiding. He doesn't want anybody to know that he is a witch, and he is in this really abusive relationship with his husband, who is also the captain of the guard of the town they're in, and so everybody adores his husband, but they don't know that he's really abusive. So if you read this, trigger warning for spousal abuse. And he ends up meeting the Big Bad Wolf character, and then you learn some shit happens, and this book is good. There's some spicy scenes in this book. There were some lines where I had to message my romance friends being like, oh, this line, like I ended up having to call a friend to be like, oh, I need to share this is good. But so I gave this 4 stars, like chest kiss. I am excited for the next one, because I think the next one's a little more made. So the next ebook I read was Once and Future Volume 2. I really like this series. It is really interesting, especially like if you know anything about like old classic Arthurian legend and like the Anglo-Saxons. They introduced Beowulf in this one and had like some stuff on the Beowulf legend, which was really cool. and I gave this one a 3 stars. I am still loving the grandmother character and the way this world is leading, and I am excited to get further into the series to see what happens next. So the next romance I read was Fond by Winter Pryor. So this book is about, what is his name? I can't even remember the main character's name, but the two main characters, they match on like a gay dating app, and it takes place in a college. Match up on this gay dating app, meet up, they sleep together, because like, you know, they're grown adults. And one of our characters, the plus size character, this is his first time. He wanted to do it to like kind of get rid of his V card, and so they end up sleeping together, and then they just notice they really like each other, and that their kinks kind of align, because there's pet play in this one, which I don't want to yuck nobody's yum, but that's just not for me. And it would be really cute. Like even though pet play is not for me, like there was enough that wasn't pet play that I was like, okay, this would have been a really cute 3 stars. But then the mental health stuff in it just wasn't it for me. I did not care. I thought it was really toxic at some points, because so you have the one main character, Barnaby, I think his name is plus size. He's overweight. I say that as someone who's overweight. I hate that phrase, overweight, though. Fat. I prefer fat. But anyway, he's plus size, and he is very unsure of himself. He thinks no one really likes him because of it. And this just started I'll get more into that later. And the other love interest, like this fit guy, but he's got like some suicide ideations, which trigger warning for that. And he's like thinking that he's not worth it, so they try to fall for each other. They like start sleeping together, and then they're like kind of falling for each other, and then they both realize that like they're both mentally not well. And the line goes where it's Barnaby's telling the love interest like, hey, I know you are not healthy right now mentally, and like you are kind of suicidal, and like date me, like I live for me, kind of. And it just gets really toxic mentality. At the end of it was resolved really quickly, and I was like, this is not healthy. And I was just 2 stars. I do not know, I just wasn't feeling right reading it. Was the mental health rep. I feel like it was, I don't know, just it was not vibing right with me, the way the relationship worked. I was like, this seems toxic. The next ebook I read was To Not Date My Best Friend by Gianni Holmes. So I then, after reading Fond, was looking for more plus size romance. And one thing I kept running across on some of the plus size romance that I would get on Kindle Unlimited, a lot of the plus size characters were very insecure. And I'm like, I get it, as a person who is plus size, like I have my own insecurities, because especially with the society we live in, we are taught that to look beautiful and attractive, especially in the gay community, you have to look a certain way. And I completely understand a person having the like insecurities, but I just like kept reading book, or like you would have book after book, and the plus size character was really just like, oh, they don't want to be with me, even though they say they how could they want to be with someone as like fat as me or something like that. So I got real sick and tired of it, and I did find this one. So this one I liked. Baz, one of our main characters, is a much more like fat femme character. He is a fashion design stylist, and he is very out and about with his wardrobe. He's very body positive, so that was a really big plus for this. Is Baz as a character. Really enjoyed his positivity. I said in a vlog that went out a couple weeks ago that I was looking for a character that's comfortable in their thickness, and Baz was, and I really appreciated that. So the plot of this book is that Baz and the love interest, I keep forgetting the love interest's name today. I did read this a couple weeks ago. They were friends in college, and then the love interest they're friends in college, and Baz kind of has feelings for him, but the love interest is straight, and that Baz knows, and is gonna get married. And so he's like, okay, well, I had a crush on him, but I want to be his best friend, and they have a really good friendship. And then the love interest goes, I think, to the Middle East as a reporter, and then he's like detained there and kept imprisoned, I think, for a year. And then he's brought back here, and he's still like dealing with the like mental health stuff. like the trauma from that, and like not wanting to talk to reporters, and just like trying to heal from that, and his like marriage falls apart. And luckily this book takes place, like, from the differences, this takes place, our character is much more healed from his like mental trauma. Not healed, but like he's dealing with it better than the other love interest in Fawn. Like, this guy is like doing the steps to get better, the other guy wasn't. And I mean, this is all books, so I don't know what I'm saying, but he's always kind of liked Fawn, because the love interest has always been bi-curious and kind of always had a thing for Baz. And now that his marriage is falling apart, after they kind of start to get together, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought the smut was great. I gave this 3.5 stars, and there's that on that one. So it's been 10 minutes, and I still haven't even gotten to the actual book, like the physical books I have. So the next ebook I read was The Scoundrel and the Seder King. So this is a monster romance Regency book. I've read other books by this author before. Last year I read the Not So Thanks in Advance, which is her monster workplace romance, and I really enjoyed those. Really enjoyed the ones I read by there. So I was really excited for this one. This one seemed really interesting, but did not care for it. I gave this one 2 stars. It takes place in this world where there's monsters, and monster like Bridgerton, because it's Regency, and that's like my only like Regency like pool I can go with. And the Scoundrel is being forced by his dad. He's like, you have to get married this year because you are making our family look bad, and I can't have that. And so he goes to this ball, meets the Seder King, and they end up like doing some nasty shit. They get caught, and Seder's like, oh, you're gonna marry me now. And he was like, I didn't want this. And he hates the Seder King. He's like, I hate it. He didn't put him into it, but he was very much tricked into doing shit. And he hates them, and then they fuck, and then he loves them. And I'm like, is the dick that good that you like go from legit one page, I don't know if I hate him after he dicks you down? So I don't know, it just didn't feel enough for me. And then the conflict they tried to put in it went like that, and I get a lot of people don't want conflict in the romance, but at least when you're gonna have a quick conflict, wrap it up really well. And that's what she said. And it just didn't work for me. So 2 stars, really disappointed in this one. Last ebook I read was Teacher of the Year. So this book follows our teacher character, Mr. Brock. I forget his first name. I just finished this the other day. My mind is everywhere. But the teacher character is up for Teacher of the Year. He's a preschool teacher, and he has a new student this year, coming into the school middle of the year, and the new student brings with her single, attractive father, and they kind of start to flirt, and then they start a relationship, and it's just like this teacher and this dad falling in love. Really cute story. I liked the mental health rep in this one a lot better than Fond. Both of the characters had their own issues. Our main character is dealing with severe anxiety and trauma from his mom, his childhood trauma of his mom being an alcoholic, and then our other character has some other mental health issues that I don't want to get into because that's kind of it's not a reveal, but it is something that affects the story. But they deal with it a lot more healthier in this one, where they just, the way they talk about it and the way that it's like, no, we are not dating like to heal or whatever, but it's just talked about a lot healthier, in my opinion. The romance scenes were pretty hot in this one too. It was a really good. There's a scene in the copy room during a parent-teacher conference meeting that I was like, okay. But so I give this 4 stars, and I'm very excited for the next book in this series. Okay, now we're gonna get to the actual books I have physically, because they're not ebooks, and we are 14 minutes into this video. Okay, so the first book we have here that this is not any like the actual order I read these books, but it's just the order I have them. The first book I have here that I read, Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. This book is it's like not technical sequel. I mean, it's a sequel because it follows the same world, and it follows the events of what happened in the duology of These Violent Delights. But this is its own series. This follows a different character from These Violent Delights, and I'll just say she, I don't remember who the character is. She's now a spy for the nationalist government in China, and that is codenamed Fortune. And she ends up having to, she's like a top assassin, and she ends up having to work with Orion, who is this top spy for the nationalists, as they try to like root out this Japanese problem that is invading China, or like kind of like causing trouble. And so they have to pretend to be married, so it's giving very Spy Family. And then they have to try to unsolve this mystery. Then you also got other characters from the series that are in this. I really enjoyed this. I liked These Violent Delights, 3 stars. These Violent Ends was really good. This was really good. I love the romance, or the relationship in this book between File Lady Fortune and Orion. There were just some scenes that were mwah. There's a who did this to you scene, and then there's a scene in a car, and it was really good. I loved it. I am very excited for the sequel. Chloe Gong knows how to do character banter really well, and that is just something I'm like here for. So I love this. This is really good spy like thriller mystery. I then also read Last Violent Call, which is a 2 stories, novella bind-up of 2 stories. One is, they both follow 2 different couples. A Foul Thing, which was really good. And then I loved the second one. What was it called? This Foul Murder, which I really enjoyed. I gave this book a 3.5. Foul Lady Fortune, 4.5. Like, these are really good. I'm very excited for the sequel. Foul Heart Huntsman, I believe, is the last one in this duology, and I'm very excited for that. So the next book I have here was my book club for Enchanted Forest book club pick, and that is City of the Plague Gods by Sherwood Chada. So this book follows a young kid, Skid, as he is still grieving the loss of his brother I believe it's a year ago, and he is trying to keep his family afloat by like taking care of the bodega, and he is just trying to survive. And then one day mysterious forces attack the bodega looking for something that they're like, you stole. He does not know what the hell is going on, and he is then enroped in this like hunt for this mystical artifact from why did my mind just fart? Mesopotamian mythology, and it's really good. I really enjoyed this. 3.5 or 4 stars, like I think 4 stars. I really enjoyed the gods in here. Like I love Ishtar. I really like the way she was portrayed in here, and just the Mesopotamian culture and mythology that was shown was really cool. The Ski as a character was really interesting to have as a male hero who wasn't super like fighty. Like I liked how there wasn't a big battle at the end. It was dealt with other ways, and just the other side characters were really interesting too. And I'm excited to read the sequel that was announced and coming out this year. Okay, next book I read was a part of my 23 for 23 video challenge, and it was The Final Empire by Brandy Sandy. So this is the epic conclusion of the Mistborn trilogy that started with the Final Empire. Brandon Sanderson, I'm not gonna say what it's about. It's about Mistborn because this is the 3rd book in the series. People that can digest metals to use magic, and they are a evil emperor rules them in the 1st book. Brandon Sanderson knows how to write an ending. Because, like, I'll enjoy most of it, but I'll, like, kind of be dragging my feet through it. Not that it was bad, but it just was like, I don't want to read this right now. But I finally got to reading it, and I was enjoying it, but it was, like I said, it was just, I gotta read this because it was on my list. And then I got to the last chunk, and I was like, shh, don't talk to me, I'm trying to listen to this book. Really enjoyed the action scenes and the ending. Like Brandon Sanderson, like I said, you know how to write an ending. You know how to tie up loose threads. You know how to tie up little hints that you sprinkled throughout the series that I was like, oh, shit. Like, there were scenes legit I was at work listening to this, like, because, like, just the plot threads are finally connected, and I really enjoyed this. I don't know when I will be continuing with the 2nd era of Mistborn, but 4 stars, like, great ending, great wrap-up to a trilogy. Next book, speaking of the ending of a trilogy, we're starting one. The next book in my 23 for 23 challenge was Jade City by Fonda Lee. This book is about a island nation of Kaigan, I believe. And it is not ruled, but like not the leaders of technical, but this kind of like behind the scenes leader are these clans and gang clans, basically families of Jades, basically, where they have the ability to use these stones that will give them immense power. And you have these rival families that are kind of control the island, and shit happens. It's got family drama, which I am here for the family drama. Give it to me. And it's really good. You got the three siblings, Ian, Hinlo, and Shay. My girl Shay. I loved it. There's a part in this book where she showed up, and I was like, okay, Shay, show them up. Show these hoes up. I am excited. I'm really enjoyed this. Oh, and I can't forget Andy, right? That's his name. It's been a week or two since I read this, okay? But I really enjoyed this. I'm very excited to continue as a sequel this month. And I am excited to see what happens, especially after the way this one ended. I am excited to see, and I'm like, this family drama is going to continue, and I'm here for it. And I like gang politics as well. I think it's really good. Next book I have for y'all is The Iron Prince, formerly called The Lost Prince, I believe. And this is by Julie Kakawa. This is the 5th book in the Iron Fae series. So this is the first part in a second trilogy that happens. This book follows Ethan Chase, the younger brother to the main character in the first trilogy. And as he is dealing with the things that have happened, as he now knows of the Fae, and he is trying to deal with it, and he's a moody teenager, and he was really irritating in the beginning. In the beginning, he was really moody. He was really trying to, like, I don't want people to get close to me because the Fae's gonna hurt them. I had to be mean and snarky, and, like, I have, like, iron piercings, and, I'm not like the other kids. So, like, he was really irritating at first, but then, like, as the series continued, especially once we get into the Fae world, which I think where Julie Kakawa really excels is her worlds. I love the Fae world she has introduced with all the different with the, like, 3 different courts. So you have the Iron Fae, the Steely, and the Unsteely courts, and then, like, in her other work, my mind is blanking. I'm looking at Shadow of the Fox trilogy. I just love her worlds. I think Julie Kakawa is an excellent world builder. And I did like seeing main characters and characters that we already knew from a new perspective. That is something that, what's her name? Bridget Kamar does really well, and also apparently Julie Kakawa does now, because now I'm seeing characters I know and love, but from a different perspective. And it's been a couple years. It's been 2 years since I read the first trilogy, so I like that there is a time skip between this one and that trilogy, and because I waited a year or two, it felt livable that this time skip happened. I will say, if you're going to read this book, know that this book is very much of its time. It is very much a book that was written in 2012, so there is language that is not okay now, that wasn't okay technically, like, it wasn't good to say, but people said it a lot more freely, and so there's that language, and it's not bad. This book's not bad. I really enjoyed it. This is like a 3.5. I am excited to continue with the series. I'm excited to continue, like, check these off. My 23 for 23, and I love these covers. It's much better than the old covers. Okay. 2 more books. We are almost there. So, the next book I have that I read was Silver in Their Bone by Alexander Bracken. This book follows our main character, Ren Tennyson. Lark. This book follows Lark. Where the fuck did I hear Ren from? I don't know. Lark is a magic smuggler, kind of. She, like Indiana Jones goes into these, like, things to get treasure hunter. And she's a part of this treasure hunting community. Her and her younger brother were a part of it because their adoptive father was. But 7 years before the, like, main plot of this book, their adoptive father abandoned them. And he's been missing ever since. And he kind of, like, went missing looking for this certain artifact. And now the artifact that he may have been looking for, there is clues to where it is at, so she has to go searching for it. And this also is heavily inspired by Arthurian legend. So I was nervous getting into this because I read Lore by Miss Alexandra Bracken, and I did not care for it at all. And I was really disappointed in it. So I was really nervous going into this, but this was my book club that I go to in person. It's okay to read YA book club's book pick. So I read it. And I really enjoyed this. There is a part where you get more like, there's sorceresses in this, and the minute that the sorceresses were introduced, I was like, I'm sold. I'm ready. I'm here. Because I like the way their magic was. I like the way that the system was set up, and I'm very excited to see from where the plot twist of this book. Like, this book got dark. This book got violent, and I'm here for it. I love Arthurian legend, like I said earlier, and I'm just here for more of it. Feed it to me now. This is one of the books I need the sequel to. This will probably be in like a top 5 sequel video, which I might do soon. Well, at the end of the year. But I'm very excited to see where the series goes. And I would say it might be a little slow at first, but get to the part where they leave to another world, and it's really good. Okay, last book I have here is a reread, and that was Air of Fire by Miss Sarah J. Maas. This is the third book, technically fourth, in the Throne of Glass series. And when Miss Sarah J. Maas is in her bag, she's in her bag. Oh shit. Ooh, okay. I hit myself. She's in her bag. This book is good. I know people don't like her, and all the power to you. If you don't like her, you don't like her. There's stuff that she does that I don't like, so all the power to you. But I love this book. This book introduces Rowan. It introduces my queen, Manon, leader of the 13th, Manon Blackbeak. This introduces, what's his name? Ansel? My mind blank, even though I just listened to this to finish this today. But the way that Sarah J. Maas writes these characters, my girl Selena went through it in this book, but my girl Selena shone, she burned brightly. You know what I mean by that. But I really enjoyed this book. She did the damn thing, and I'm very excited for Queen of Shadows when I read it this year, because that is my favorite from what I remember, because this is my first reread of the series since I finished it when it was coming out. But Air of Fire is that book. 5 stars. I'm sorry. I am very excited for this next couple books in the Throne of Glass series. I think is where she is in her bag, and I am eating it up. Okay. But that is it, finally. This is a 27-minute video right now. I'm going to have to edit it. But thank you guys for watching this long. What did you guys read this month in May? What were your favorites? Did you got a lot of ebook reads like I did? Were you surprised that you read as many ebook books like I was? Did you hit yourself in the face like I did just now? But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. And new videos are every Friday and Wednesday. Vlogs on Wednesday. I try to do sprints every Monday if I can, and if I can't because of work, you'll see they're not up. And my Discord down below, where I have my book club meetings and the meetings for the Throne of Glass readathon that I am doing, where it's bi-monthly now. So the next book will be Queen of Shadows, and that talk will be in August for the Queen of Shadow talk. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I will see y'all later. Bye.